Three travelers. In a far country lived a poor peasant. About to die of old age, he told his three sons, I am sorry, I am unable to leave behind me any wealth for you. But all my life I have prayed to God to give you wit, wisdom, and power of observation. I have a feeling that God has granted my prayer and that if you can impress the Sultan with your talents, you will be well provided for. Soon after their father's death, the three brothers set out for the town. They wished to try their luck with the Sultan, but they knew how difficult it is to meet him. It was noon and they were not far from the town. A horseman who came from the opposite direction was seen looking for something at the crossroads. Gentleman, are you looking for a big camel? Asked the eldest brother. Right, answered the rider looking happy. Was the camel blind in its left eye? Asked the second brother. Right, right. Did it carry a lady and a child? Asked the youngest one. Right. Now please tell me when and where you saw them? Queried the rider a bit impatient. Well, we have not seen them. However, you should take to the road to the east. The answer was rudely interrupted by the rider who shouted at them saying, Do you take me to be a buffoon? You have not seen them and yet you claim to have known my wife and my child riding a one-eyed big camel. Speak out where and when you saw them. Sir, believe us, we have not seen them, politely informed the eldest brother. I won't be surprised if you fellows have been a party to any mischief that is done to them. But being fools have given out half of the truth. Come, let us go to the Sultan. You deserve severe punishment which he alone can give, said the rider in a threatening voice and led the three brothers to the Sultan's court. The horseman, being a member of the nobility, found entry into the court without any difficulty. He presented the three brothers to the Sultan and reported all about the encounter he had with them. The Sultan looked at the young men intently and demanded to know what they had to say. My lord, we have not seen the camel and its riders. Our observations were drawn from certain other things we saw, said the eldest brother, and he added, Had this gentleman taken to the road to the east, he would have already found his wife and child by this time. Really? Are you chaps that keen observers? Well, let's try you, said the Sultan. Then he whispered something to his minister. The minister left the court. In a few minutes he returned with a big box carried by two bearers. After it had been placed before him, the Sultan asked, Can you tell me if there is anything inside it? My lord, this is empty except for a small round object, said the eldest. And the object is likely to be a pomegranate, said the second brother. And it is an unripe one, said the youngest. The Sultan ordered the box to be opened. To everybody's surprise, it was seen to contain a raw pomegranate. Well done, exclaimed the Sultan. Looking at the rider, he said, From the beginning I thought that these young men are far from being mischievous or foolish. My friend, gallop forth to the east without delay, and I am sure you will find your wife, child, and camel. Turning to the three brothers, the Sultan asked, Now will you please tell me how you knew what the box contained? My lord, from the way the bearers handled the box, it was obvious that it was empty. However, when they put the box down, one end of it touched the ground slightly before the other end. At once the sound of something rolling inside could be heard, and that also made it clear that the thing was round. While coming to your presence through the courtyard, we had noticed a pomegranate tree standing at the doorway. The box came from the pavilion on the other side of the courtyard. We thought that the pomegranate must have been handy for being put into the box. Since the season for pomegranates to ripen was yet to come, it had to be a raw one, explained the brothers. Excellent. Now will you please reveal how you knew so much about the rider's camel? Asked the Sultan with great curiosity. My lord, we had observed the footprints of the camel on the road. From the size of the footprints and the deep imprint it had made, we knew that it was a large camel, probably with a rider or two. We further observed that the animal had grazed on the grass only to its right side. That informed us that it could not see with its left eye. At one place, the camel had rested, and there on the sands we saw the tiny footprints of a child beside those of a grown up person. We concluded that the grown up one was a lady because it was natural for such a small child to be accompanied by a lady, explained the brothers. The Sultan's satisfaction was expressed through his clapping his hands, which he rarely did. The courtiers followed him even more enthusiastically. He offered jobs to the three brothers instantly. My lord, we must confess that it is not merely to demonstrate our power of observation that we talk to the rider in that manner. You were trying to create an opportunity to be ushered into my presence. Am I right? Asked the Sultan. Absolutely, O wise one, exclaimed the three happy brothers. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Do provide your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for listening.